So I can be part of their world.
Yeah, and I'm sure that means a lot to them.
Yes, it definitely does. Like when I told my youngest son that I was doing Geek Devotions, he was like, Mom, do you need me to help you? Because I don't think you're going to be able to do this. Oh. He was so sweet, though. Like, he was really going to give me, like, advice and tips and help me, all the way around.
Hey, Annalise.
Captain, we have a proximity alert with the planet Geekery. We are approaching collision.
Quicks, get somebody on the comms. Enter in the security code.
257. Security code accepted.
Hello, devoted geeks, and welcome to episode 35 of Comm Talk, the podcast extension of Geek Devotions, the YouTube show from a couple of devoted geeks that are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I am Celeste, and today we have yet another special guest. With me is
Amy Hollis, and I'm so excited to be here today.
We're so glad to have you, Amy. As you listen to this podcast, please interact with us. Send us your thoughts on what we're saying via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us by simply looking up Geek Devotions. Do us a favor and leave a review on iTunes, and please interact with us on our social medias, and perhaps you can be our next Devoted Geek of the Month. Okay, now Amy, with you, things are a little bit different as far as what we're talking about today. Generally, with all of our other guests, we're going to be talking about being a geeky girl, but you are very unique in the fact that you're not necessarily a geeky girl, you are a boy mom who has geeks in your little brood.
That's right. And like, I'm really learning about a whole new culture. And really, I was kind of afraid of it at first. You know, I know that sounds silly. Like, why would you be afraid of that? But I think anything that is out of our normal realm, what we're used to, is different for us. But you know, when you love your kids, you want to be interested in what they're interested in.
Exactly.
So that you can not just be monitoring what they're doing, because as a parent, heaven knows we need to be monitoring what the people are doing. But
all the little people. It's kind of like when they're really little and they get quiet.
Yeah.
And all the parents start freaking out, like, what's going on because they're quiet. There's a problem.
Especially when you have boys, because you just don't know, like, what you're fixing to walk into. You know, I got a thing on Facebook the other day that was talking about, you know, girls are harder to deal with, but boys are harder to keep alive. You know, like, this is the struggle is real. You know?
I would believe that, because I have two cousins that, bless them, they determined that they were going to figure out which of them was stronger.
Oh, yes.
And they climbed up on the roof.
Oh, no.
And one of them jumped.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think he broke his arm.
Yes.
Or no, either he broke his arm or he was about to jump and they caught him. And they determined that whichever one of them didn't break their arm was going to be the stronger one.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is real. Like, this is my life. I have 3 boys, and they are, it has been just like an exercise in, like, I don't even know what is an exercise in. Like, I'm just like holding my breath, like, you're going to make it. I'm praying you're going to make it. You know,
you will survive.
You will live through this, because we've had sword fights. We've had a front tooth knocked out. I meant to push him, but I didn't mean to knock him off the top bunk.
Oh my gosh.
2 broken collarbones. You know, the sword fight actually broke out half a tooth, you know, and so we're still having to pay to get that tooth fixed too. That's expensive.
Yeah.
It's real. And so I've learned so much about, you know, like Marvel comics and Spider-Man and, you know, just things that I never would have just on my own been interested in. But, you know, hanging out with my kids, I just want to be interested in what they're interested in. And I'm not trying to change who they are and make them me, because they don't want to be me. They don't care about, you know, HGTV and, you know, Pinterest and all the stuff that I like.
Yeah,
you know,
because Pinterest is awesome.
Pinterest is awesome, and I love it. But they do not. And so they're not going to come to me, so I'm coming to them.
Yeah.
And they're really great people. And so it's really cool to get to be part of the things that they're doing. They're all so different. And to really, like, I'm not trying to hang out with them and be them. I'm just trying to be interested in what they're interested in, so I can be part of their world.
Yeah, and I'm sure that means a lot to them.
Yes, it definitely does. Like, when I told my youngest son that I was doing Geek Devotions, he was like, Mom, do you need me to help you? Because I don't think you're going to be able to do this.
Oh.
He was so sweet though. Like he was really going to give me like advice and tips and help me, you know, all the way around.
Hey, at least he was willing to offer.
That's right. He did kind of laugh at me a little. So guys, just don't laugh at me, okay?
Or if you do it quietly where she can't hear you.
I can't hear them anyways. It's a podcast.
Exactly.
Laugh all you want.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now you were telling me before we started recording about your youngest son and some stuff that he was doing.
Oh,
why don't you talk about a little bit more about that? Let us know what's going on.
Like it's a whole new world that I've been opened up to, things that I didn't know, but I'm really interested in it and really just kind of geeking out about it, I guess. It's really cool. He is involved in Destination Imagination at school, and it's a program where they take kids, they have to try out. There's a lot of improv, there's a lot of on the spot problem solving skills. Like they put them in a situation, they give them tasks that they have to complete, and they have to hit several different marks. They have to be creative with it. They have a certain time limit, and they get scored on their points and on their creativity.
Right.
And so they actually competed in state, and they made it to global.
That's awesome.
It's really awesome, and it's a lot bigger than anything I ever realized. And they had the coolest thing, like they had a duct tape challenge.
Oh my gosh.
And they could bring as many different rolls of duct tape as they wanted, and they had to create like costumes out of the duct tape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the prom dress stuff. Have you seen that?
Yeah, you should have seen some of the stuff that they had. They had like some from The Nightmare Before Christmas. This girl made like a whole dress out of duct tape.
Gosh.
She only had a couple hours. I was extremely impressed with what she had done. Made the wig, made the dress, and everything.
That's awesome.
He actually won first place in that too. They were Moana, like him.
Really?
Yeah, the girl made a duct tape outfit of Moana. The boy, I get this wrong because I've only seen the movie one time.
So have I.
Yeah, so there's the guy and the girl, and then he was the little pig. He was the little white pig. He had like a little pink nose and little pink ears.
It's better. The only name other than Moana I remember from that is Hey Hey, and that's the chicken that keeps falling off. Because
the chicken, yes.
I relate to Hey Hey so much. Like the memes that have come out because of Hey Hey, you know, where when you say, "Oh, I'm gonna be so productive," and then you're running around in the little square like he is in that.
That's how I feel every time I try to clean my house.
Exactly. This is my life. Yes,
exactly. You know, they won in the duct tape challenge. It was really cool. They got a duct tape medal for it, which I thought was pretty neat. And then they had to do like an entire skit, and they can't have help from the adults. Like most, just being honest, most school projects, my kids are older. I have done a lot of school projects, and I have passed a lot of grades with my talents and skills, you know. But the truth comes out, you know. I mean, like, I did a great senior project. It's amazing, you know. But, you know, this they had to do completely on their own.
Yeah.
No help, no assistance. They had to do it themselves. And I was amazed at their creativity. Mm-hmm. Like, they had to build an amusement park ride that had to move. Oh. And it had to be in an unlikely setting. And they had to have an entire script to go along with it. They had to make backdrops.
Oh, my gosh.
They had to change scenes. They had a certain set, like, amount of time.
Please tell me they had more time to build the sets than they did the duct tape.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
They had months that they've been working on the sets. And so the same project that they did, that they competed with this time, they will take to global. Nice. So they will improve on it, and they'll take it to global, and they will perform there again.
Now, where is global?
Global's in Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah,
so we're fundraising. You know, I might put something out there for y'all. Y'all can help me out. It's really expensive, like $1,000.
I sense flamingos coming back.
Yeah, the flamingos are coming. We've flocked people with flamingos to raise money for a mission trip before, so now we're going to be flocking to make it to Tennessee because it's expensive.
Well, all of that sounds really awesome, especially the getting to go to Tennessee part. We will be praying and possibly flocking people.
Oh, yeah.
So, because, you know, that's just so much fun. So let's go into our next topic about talking about stereotypes. Now, when we were discussing this beforehand and talking about what we were going to be talking about, I realized that you really haven't come across this.
Yes. I mean, I have in other areas, but like the geeky girl stereotype, like you were telling me about, it just hurts my heart that people would treat other people that way. That you would look down on somebody for something that they're interested in, or that you would be mean. I mean, because honestly, being mean to anybody is not going to change them over to your viewpoint.
Right.
It is not going to lift them up to a different perspective. It's not, it's just kind of pointless to just being mean,
All it's really going to do is make you look really bad.
Yeah.
And then make them not like you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like being a mom of a kid that is super smart, really interested in, like I said, the destination imagination. He loves Marvel movies, and he does all this really cool stuff. It just hurts my heart that someone else would bully or be mean, because really in this world, that's a lot of what happens. There's a lot of bullying going on.
So, and some of it, I don't even think it's necessarily bullying. I think it's just unintentional assumptions. Like, some people just make assumptions because that's the only thing that they've had experience with.
Yeah.
It's like I was talking last week with Demara. I think it was last week. It may have been 2 weeks ago. This podcast was previously recorded from when it was released, so I don't remember what order they're airing in. I apologize, Devoted Geeks. But when Demara and I were on the podcast together, we were talking about the fact that my dad got me into a lot of stuff. And I didn't get into it because of him, but because I wanted to please him, but it was because he introduced me to things he thought that I would like.
Yes.
Based on other things that I liked. So, like, I had never seen Star Wars. I had never seen Star Trek. There was just so many things. Like, he found out that I liked music, and he got me an entire book series about the World War II that was based around music. It's one of those things of he was doing what you were doing. He was trying to connect with me, and through that, broadened my horizons.
Well, and it's really a wonderful thing to do, like to find that connection point with your kids, to find this is something that we can do together. This is something that we can talk about. This is something that I can ask you about and find out about. And it's really, I don't know, it's just loving another person,
right.
And, he's different from me. He doesn't look down on me for being a mom or, now I do have to say, he is my first child he's the third child. He's the youngest one that walks like 10 paces in front of me because he doesn't want people to see that My other two never did that. Like my oldest one, he would like kiss me in the classroom in front of all of his friends in the 5th grade, like before I left. And the second one, he's like, "Oh, Mom, it's okay. I love you." He's like, "Well, you dropped me off on the corner so when he sees you."
That poor kid.
I know. Well, he's 12, all this, just trying to be cool and everything, So.
The other two just didn't care, apparently.
They didn't. They didn't.
They were like, "My mama's boys. It's okay."
I know, right? Like, so it was really funny, though. I was like, "Oh, I was been waiting for this to happen." Like,
I just didn't expect it to happen now.
I know, like all this time, and here we go, coming into the teenagerhood and stuff. Well, and that's when I think like stereotypes and stuff like that come in too, because you're really looking for your identity, and we do identify. We identify with things that we love and things that we do. Like I'm in children's ministry,
yes,
and I really love like our curriculum. We do Superbook curriculum, and it's really cool, and I identify with that. Like when people ask you like who you are and what you do, that's one of the things you talk about is what you're interested in, and so I think that's where sometimes like you tell someone you're interested in something, and then they're just basing it off of the only experience that they've had with that.
So it's actually, that's a very good analogy. The first time we ever went to a convention, we went to GeekCon at the convention center. Well, originally we went to Louisiana Comic-Con, and we didn't get in because they underestimated the draw.
Yeah.
They
didn't realize so many people were going to come.
They did not realize so many people would come. So they were at a very small venue. It was not their fault, but then they also sold all the tickets, and
Yeah.
then the people who bought the tickets at the door couldn't go in until the people with the tickets left.
Oh, wow.
So it was not handled well.
Yeah.
They are actually coming back this year and have very high hopes because they have a bigger venue. They've learned from their mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But part of that con that was so nice was, I told someone later, I made a joke that I would normally make. It's just, I'm used to people kind of going, that's funny, and going on. And they got it.
Oh, yeah.
They understood the joke, and it was so much funnier to them because they knew what I was referencing.
Yes.
So when you understand, it's like an instant connection.
Yes, exactly. Like, and I find that too, even with like being in ministry and being in church, because, I'm a children's pastor, and I do that too. And it's you'll make a joke or something that like comes from scripture, and people are looking at you like,
What
are you talking about? And then you're just looking, and then you gotta explain everything. So let me tell you, like Celeste was doing that with me a while ago. She was showing me the picture of her and Demira with the little bunny rabbit things, and she's like explaining to me who they are, because I don't know.
Okay, so the little bunny rabbits that she's talking about are Ryoki and Kenobi from Tenchi Muyo. And they're actually what's called a space cabbit.
Okay.
They are bunny rabbits, but in the TV show they're also spaceships.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's when so your spaceship follows you and it's adorable.
Yeah.
Like
precious.
So,
it was very cute. I saw the picture.
They're so precious.
Yeah.
And they're in the living room, so I'll show you this when we're done.
Yeah.
Because they're soft.
But I hear they shed, so I gotta be careful.
They do shed. So but just, for the viewers, that is the bunny rabbits we're talking about.
Yes, because I don't know what they're called.
That's okay. And that's okay, because you have a good attitude and you're willing to go, oh, okay, that's cool.
Well, and it really is neat, because you're really getting to learn about people that you care about and people that you love. And more than anything, as a mom, like, you want your kid to grow up with self-confidence. You want them to be proud of who they are, and to care about other people.
Yeah.
And really, like, I want them to find their identity in Christ.
Yes.
And you enjoy everything that God has put into your life. And I think that gives you like a greater sense of who you are, and you're not as shakeable.
Yeah.
And that's like with him. Like, we read scripture together, we pray together, we talk about things together, and I think and I'm not bragging on myself, because I'm not like the best mom that there ever was or anything, but my willingness to step into his world and care about what he likes opens a door for me to be able to plant that good seed in his life.
Yeah. So, okay, well, we are going to take a quick break. Here are a few opportunities for you, devoted geek, and then we will be back to talk about some more geeky stuff.
Are you a new business or ministry and need help getting your message out? Are you a budding artist who needs help sharing your passion with the world? Need help creating a social media presence that's impactful and represents who you are, but can't afford to have someone else run it for you all the time? One of my passions is to help people establish a social media presence so they can reach others with a message that encourages and changes lives. Not only do I want to help you create it, but I want to give you the skills so that you can maintain and grow your online presence. I offer a variety of services, from graphic design to creating a social media campaign to consultation. If you're interested in my help, email me at geekdevotions@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, and welcome back. So now we've kind of already gone over what you are geeking out about.
Yes.
So what I have been geeking out about is I've started a book series, and I'm rather sad right now because I just realized the third one's not out yet.
Oh no, that's terrible.
It's the worst.
It's like when you're watching the Netflix and you realize that the series has been canceled. Like, you get like all into it and then there is no more, and it's really sad.
Or you realize that it's British and you have to wait for another like year for it to hit Netflix. Yeah,
that's a long time.
Ooh, I do Call the Midwife. Like, that's one of my shows.
Yeah.
It's midwife in London right after World War II.
Oh wow, that sounds cool.
In the series, as far as Netflix has, because that's when I watch it, they've gotten up to the 60s. So we just passed the Missile Crisis.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it's a good, I like history. I like shows set in history.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting watching everyday life.
Yes.
As all these other things that you know about are going on.
It's kind of like going back in time. It's
yeah,
really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
I've been doing, that's Call the Midwife this last time was my coming down from watching The Crown, because I'm obsessed with The Crown. But
that's awesome.
It's so good. But I like British TV, but it takes it forever to get to Netflix. So like the season that I'm watching, Dallas's mom has already watched on PBS.
Oh, wow.
Because it's originally aired at BBC, then it went to PBS, and then when the next season airs on PBS, Netflix will get the last season.
Oh, wow. So it takes a while for it all to come to you.
It takes a while for it to get to me. And I know that some of my friends who are really heavily into the anime, it takes the same amount of time, if not longer sometimes, because they have to dub it and sub it and all that fun stuff and make it legible. At least I just have to deal with accents.
You don't have to read the screen, get your glasses on and stuff.
So, which, I mean, that's cool, but not all the time.
Yes.
Especially when generally I'm listening to it as I'm doing something else.
Yes, I like to do that too. I really do like to put things on to listen to while I'm doing other things. But it actually helps me like finish things too, because I'm so bad about, if I'm just stuck with the thoughts in my head, then I'm just kind of like run around in a circle. I don't even know.
I understand. So, but the book series that I started, incidentally, is set in London.
That's good. You should go visit sometime.
Sometime, eventually, maybe one day. But in this world, it's a dystopian book, and in this world, there are people who have access to magic.
Oh, wow.
And they call it magic, but it's really more like they're mutants.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's like they have incredible strength, they're able to do things, they're telekinetic, but in the book they call it magic, and I feel like that's going to have a purpose later on. Yeah. I'm in the middle of the second one. And so the people who don't have the magic, who are not the equals, which is what that group of people's called, are normal everyday humans. They get jobs, they work, they do their stuff, they doctors, lawyers, all that fun stuff. But they have installed in the society that for 10 years out of everyone's life who is not an equal, they have to do what's called slave days.
Oh, wow.
And so for 10 years, they don't have rights. They are not considered people.
That's a big chunk. 10 years. That's a long time.
And so, and you can choose at any point to do it. So in the book, the family that the book is following, mom and dad haven't done it yet. They want their kids to be able to do it, because once you've done your years,
you're done. Yeah.
You're done, and then you get advantages. Like, until you've done your years, you can't travel overseas.
Oh, wow.
So there's perks to
having already completed it.
You can get into better colleges, you can get more money, funding type things. Oh, yeah. So the oldest sister has just turned 18. Kids are not supposed to be able to do their days without a parent.
Oh, wow.
So there is a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And so mom, dad, and the 18-year-old have decided, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to get into a family house rather than a slave town and work for the family, because at least we'll all be together.
Yes.
And so it ends up turning south for them.
Oh, wow.
Like, when they pick them up, the family determined they didn't need the 17-year-old boy, so he gets sent alone to the slave town, and then they're separated, and it's very intriguing. And so I think they're taking the route of getting, like, the political side of things. Like, they're going to try and get it changed. If not changed, at least better conditions.
Yes. It's funny because we were just talking about that dystopia last night at church in our Bible study. And which I know sounds like an odd thing to talk about, but I really just learned what a dystopia was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My son was in his English class was doing a project on dystopian novels.
Gotcha.
And so I had seen some of the movies, but I just didn't
realize
know
what
that was what it was. I didn't know that was what it was called. I guess I didn't know the name of it.
I feel like because of the Hunger Games, everyone knows a little bit of what dystopia is without realizing it.
Yes, and it was like, if the society was, manipulated in a certain way, and so that was really interesting to me. Like I really was like, I enjoyed like watching him do his project on it, and really it makes you. I think the point of the dystopian stuff is to make you think about things in your society. Yes. Yeah. And to realize how if they were different, or if you sometimes got the things you asked for or the things you wanted, how badly that could go.
There's a series, and I say a series, there is a TV series, and I'm not going to say it because it can be kind of controversial. Yeah. But it's based off of a book that was very well written. And as I'm reading the book, I'm going, oh my gosh, I can see this happening. Yeah. And not because of the reasons the author thinks. Intended. Yeah. Like, the author intended it to be very, shall we say, liberal. Okay. They were intending it to be the women's rights type thing. Uh-huh. And they were blaming the people who were more conservative for what had happened in the book. And I'm going, no, it would not. It would be something completely different. So I enjoy that type of thing. So that is what I'm geeking out about. Yeah. So is there anything else you were geeking out about other than your son getting to go to Global?
Well, there's, I haven't really been doing that much other stuff. I teach children's church. I've been taking care of my grandma and going to the DI competition.
Well, there you go.
That's about it.
That's life right now.
That is life. It's very busy.
I understand. Honestly, if it was not for the fact that my supervisor does not mind me having my Kindle up to read in between patients, I would not at all have time to do half of what I do.
I know. It's really hard. Like I do not sit down at work, so I don't have that opportunity. You don't, do you? No, I don't get to sit at work. I work from the moment I get there until the moment I leave. But God is very gracious with me. Like I always find a little minute, a little opportunity. When I'm getting ready in the morning, I put my Bible on and listen to it while I get ready. Yes. Like you do what you got to do during these busy moments in your life.
You hang on until you get to the point where you're not quite as busy.
I know. Well, and like I was talking to a friend of mine about that today. We were talking about, people say, if you're too busy, then you need to let go of the things that aren't producing fruit and aren't being productive. And then we were laughing. I was like, but what if it's all producing fruit? Exactly. What if it's all productive? What if it's all good and fruitful and, making a difference? It's like, how do you decide which one to cut out then? None of it. You just don't sleep and do your laundry.
That's when the lovely juggling act of, okay, we've got this, and this going on. Let's see if we can scooch this to next week. Yeah. And then start the juggle again.
Exactly. It's like I work in the hospital. It's like triage. Like you gotta decide what's the most important, go for that, and then you work on the other stuff next.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay. Now, if our devoted geeks enjoyed listening to you and would like to know more about you and find you other places, how can they find you?
Well, I am children's pastor at Believers Worship Center in Benton, Louisiana, and you can find us on Facebook at Believers Worship. That's what it is, at Believers Worship.
So, okay. Well, thank you, Amy, for coming on. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I had a good time.
I'm glad. Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Comm Talk today. If you've loved this episode, head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It is very much appreciated. Until next Sunday, stay devoted. Peace and love.